this is Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2. Ginny, I'm sure you guys know me as Ginny, the one that kicks ass, the one that lives, the one that survives. That's me. You are listening to the Timo and Harley Show. Awesome show, awesome people, awesome guys. Have fun.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in Mindcrime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben House Mix Harley.
Yeah, wicked. What?
How the hell are you?
I'm doing good, Timo. How are you today, man?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I'm about ready in the space-time continuum. When you hear this, I'm going to be back home. Home, but in space-time continuum, yeah, we're both got stuff going on this weekend. I am going, me and Angie are going to Horror Hound to work for the manager extraordinaire, Dominic Mancini, and we're going to sit with Danny Hicks and Cassie DePaiva.
Ah, yes.
We're going to help them out.
Very lovely. Very lovely.
Yes, they are. So
that's awesome.
Going to be a lot of beautiful people. People just sitting right there in one spot. Ben Harley.
Too many beautiful people. A lot of good thing. Well, might be some flash photography going on. I don't know. Good thing people don't. Yeah. So
might be. So
you might want to wear some sunglasses, Timo.
Right. So I will report back from that, and then
that's gonna be awesome, buddy.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, we haven't been to Horror Hound. I think in like a year or two or something. It's been a while.
It's been a little while.
I haven't been. We moved into Dermal Ridge, and I don't know. I just haven't really been to a show. We haven't gotten a table at a show for a while and stuff like that. But not that we've been hiding from them.
No.
This is what it is. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody from Horror Hound, and I think I'm going to be busy. I think I'm going to be busy. Those tend to get a little crowded. Now it's in that new giant hotel, or it's not a new hotel, I don't think, but it's a big hotel right downtown in Indy. So it's not the same place. It's not that. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a little different, huh? It's going to be a little different.
It is. I mean, I'm kind of used to it. Yeah, I'm kind of used to that hotel, even though the people that worked there became jerks after a while.
That whole center court thing. Whatever.
Yeah, the outside thing. Yeah.
What the hell? Like, their whole thing, they come over to kick you out of your patio.
Right.
They said, well, no. All right, you got 20 people here stay on the patio. Then they come back 20 minutes later and say, okay, now you can only have 10 people on the patio. So you got to and then in your head, you're like, well, I got to pick 10 people that I like more than 10 other people.
Right.
And they got to go. Like, come on, man, you're putting the pressure on me.
Right. I don't understand why a hotel in a situation like that, if it was a normal night, let's say it was a normal night where it was just, there was no convention there. It was just general people staying there, like families and and what have you, truckers, whatever the hell. Yeah. And you were outside at 3 a.m. with 15 people hooting and hollering. I can understand where somebody would come out and say, go to bed, you idiots. But when you're at a horror convention where every hallway is packed full of people dressed like Freddy Krueger, and you're sitting outside, I mean, we're bothering nobody, nobody at all. And they want to kick us in to where we're bothering people. And I never understood it, never will understand it. But Mr. Ben Harley, we'll see how this new place goes. I don't know. I don't care anymore anyway. They don't let you party, so it's like, whatever. I'll find a good spot. They want you to
spend the money.
Yeah, I know. Party. That might be a part of it too, but I'm going to find a stoop. You know me, I'll find a stoop.
Oh, you'll find a good spot. Then.
But I got that going on, so me and Angie will be there in Indianapolis. And then, Mr. Ben Harley, you got a Potentate of Hate wrestling event coming up here.
I do.
Now,
I do.
Space-time continuum, so once again, by the time you hear this, it'll be over with. But I did watch your previous match from the auto dealership. You guys were outside there, so
it's hot.
Was it? Yeah. But let me ask him, what the hell? I saw you try to choke the guy out with your baby, with the head on a stick. I call it baby. I don't care what you call it. That's baby. But you're trying to choke him out with baby.
I saw the guy was turning blue, so I thought I was trying to help him. I was trying to coax the air out of him, Tim.
Yeah.
You might have had a bad camera angle, or the sun because it was bright out there. You might have, I don't know. And I was wearing my bright gold shirt, so that sometimes that can play little tricks on the mind, buddy. So no, I was just trying to help the guy.
You're just making it difficult as your lawyer to get you out of these things. I'm looking at this going, okay, so he's dancing to Charleston, and this guy tried to stop him and got into his way, and they got kind of locked together. That's the best way I can figure this one out. It's getting hard.
It's getting hard, buddy. I know.
My docket's getting heavy.
Yeah, I was on the move that day, Timo. Like I said, I probably should have been sitting in the shade, but yeah, it was a fine match for some. For some, it was. For others, not so much.
Yeah,
but yeah, that what a great time, Timo. That was a thanks for bringing it up. A great match, but just a great time. All the people that were there. Even though I said it was hot and I'm being a baby, it was great weather, it's better than 50 degrees and rain. So, it was just a great day. And I look back at it and I just think, wow, what fun.
Right. Right.
I didn't smack any babies or nothing. So I didn't go that far.
Or shake any or anything.
Shake any either. No.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun. And coming up Sunday, on the 26th, and Space Time Continuum.
Right. In the past.
Yes. We are back at St. Clemens Hall.
Okay.
And that's
is that like home base? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
And it's nice. I've been to a few receptions there. I've been to a few rock concerts there. And then some wrestling matches over the years. So it's a nice little hall. Uh-huh. We are actually vying for the belts there, Timo.
Ooh.
I got some bad news for Mr. Andy Cementhead Shane, or should I say Cementhead Shane, like that, and then Rick the Homemaker Baker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're in big trouble. They got a little something they ain't expecting coming their way.
You let them know that your lawyers said that they need those belts because they got to keep their pants up. Got to keep their pants up.
I'm glad you said your docket's heavy because we might need to use it.
Well, I got it.
You know what I mean?
And,
oink, oink.
Yeah, I got it.
If it happens to appear out of the crowd and I happen to catch it and it happens to hit someone in the head, it's not my fault either.
Right.
So, okay.
Very good. Very good. So we will report back next week from our adventures. This weekend. And a couple quick things. I wanted to report, just a little quick report. I do believe that Mr. John Dugan is on the mend. They appreciate all the support they've gotten from the community. I know it went really well. They went over their goal for their GoFundMe thing. They went over their goal and everybody pulled together. Very good. Very good. So awesome. glad to hear that. And from everything I know, I've left them alone. Ben Harley, sometimes people they feel like they need to go to a hospital and see some. I'm the kind of person that feels like I need to let them heal. I need to leave them alone. Now, I know that there's validity to both of those. Well, I'm one of the guys that stays home. I'm one of the guys. So I have not bothered Stacy or John about this, but I have kind of kept an eye, reading the tea leaves online, which is never an accurate thing to do. Trust me on that one. Yeah, trust me on that one. But so as far as I can read, they're doing much better. So thank you very much to the horror community and any of our listeners who decided to chip in. And Mr. Ben Harley, I about pooped my little panties. The other night I was going. Yep, I was going to. We're watching something. Me and Angio was, and we're gonna go outside and take a break, have a little smoky smoke, and
listen to the owls and stuff.
Yeah, do that stuff. So I always flip the TV back on, which is good for your screen to do those kinds of things, keep everything moving. And right in my face was Perry Mason. I'm like, well, that's awesome. And then it edited over to Richard Carlson.
Richard Carlson.
I can't even turn on my snooty antenna with that Richard. I think Richard Carlson is just like burned into my screen.
He's coming for you.
I think so, yeah. But I just had to mention it. There was no other reason. I was like, Richard Carlson, Jesus, come here. So
stay away from me. It's after your wife, Tim.
I probably. I'm convinced everybody and everything is, so it's fine. So keeps me on my toes. Keeps me on my toes, right. Mr. Ben Harley. So I watched a few things. Let's run through them real quick here before we get to our official films. All right, here we go. From 1963.
Okay.
Watched a couple of these are rewatches, or at least this one's a rewatch of The Haunting.
Ooh, The Haunting.
Yes, with starring our pal Richard Johnson.
Dick Johnson.
Yeah, Richard Johnson. Also starring Russ Tamblyn, Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, from the book The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Now, this is something interesting. And this is all going to come around here.
Was this on the Amazon Primes?
I don't know if it's on Amazon Prime.
I came across.
I got a Blu-ray of it. I thought I sent it to you at one point, but you probably got it in a stack somewhere. Yeah, sitting around like in a special designed room to keep all the movies I keep force feeding you. Yeah, but
when I open the door, they spill out.
Right. So, but this is a great. Robert Wise directed it. And Robert Wise, for some reason, the movie that always pops in my head first is Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Although he did do a little movie called The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is
it's a little bit legendary.
Yeah. And he did some stuff for Val Lewton, who we know I like a whole lot. But this is one of those really cool, creepy things are in the shadows and suggested kind of spook show horror films. What's funny about it is that I always thought that The Legend of Hell House was also based on the book The Haunting of Hill House. Okay. Now, I knew The Haunting was based on The Haunting of Hill House, so I just figured that The Haunting of Hell House, I'm gonna mess these up.
The Haunting, say that stuff real fast.
Yeah, but I thought The Legend of Hell House was too. No, it's not. That was Richard Matheson. I was like, okay, because they're very similar. A group of paranormal investigators goes to a house, a haunted mansion, and stays there to investigate and see if they can prove this. Yeah. There was a remake, like I think in 99 or 2000 with Liam Neeson in it, of The Haunting. Or whatever. Not anywhere near what the original
caliber.
Book. No, not at all. So moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. This movie shot in 1981. It was shot then, but it was released in 83. More or less just to give me a little mercy on my 81 rule. We watched the film Spasms.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is with Oliver Reed and Peter Fonda. It is a giant killer snake movie who is like some kind of African god snake. And they bring him over to, I can't remember where they're actually at. Somewhere in some city. I can't remember if it was New York, London, or something like that. But they bring him back here to the States or wherever, and he goes runs amok, Ben Harley, runs amok. And somehow Oliver Reed is psychically connected with the snake. So there's going to be some drunken acting going on. So it's a little bit of bug-eyed kind of stuff going on. And there's, interestingly enough, right about the same time that Venom came out, another killer snake movie with Oliver Reed in it that we reviewed not too long ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, this movie is pretty bad, actually. I think they kind of ran out of money. It's a really good idea, and it's kind of our kind of movie. I do admit I enjoyed it a lot more this time, mostly because I thought it sucked so bad, and I hadn't seen it for a while. And I was like, well, it does suck, but not as bad as if you go into it really low expectations. They're met quite well. Yeah, so they're fine. So, nice. Spasms is that's a DVD Bob special, by the way. You can't find that anywhere. Yes.
Except this weekend.
Well, now I've talked about it. It's going to be everywhere. Trust me on this, Mr. Ben Harley. If I texted you every single time something was being released or came up on Prime a week or two after we discussed it on the show, I would be. I don't know what I'd be. But anyway, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah. So, moving on. From 2017, believe it or not, 2017. Yes, I watched Jigsaw, which was the last Saw film.
Oh, boy.
Now, I did this because I've seen all the other Saw films. I'm going to have to admit something to everybody, that I actually, up until about, I think it was the fifth one, I'm like, this is dumb. It took that long for me in the Saw franchise to finally go, this is dumb. And the reason I think is I don't like all the torture. I don't like all the gore and stuff. I do like the story. I do think that some of this stuff is actually, you have to do some writing to make a Saw movie. You can't just simply stick people in a room. It doesn't work that way. And so I always did enjoy the storytelling of the Saw franchise. Like I said, up until I think the fifth one I'm watching this going, I think there was a I can't remember what's going on in the fifth one. It might have been the one where they had like a police chief who was going to get hung. He was standing on a block of ice. So as the ice melted, he was going to like choke himself out or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I think I sat there watching. Like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm done. I think it was that one. I know the fourth one I thought was okay. But anyway, it just kept having twist after twist after twist. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. No. I'm going to ask you a question. Mr. Ben Harley, Tobin Bell.
Yeah.
Tobin
Lay it
Bell,
on me, bro.
who plays John, the serial killer, guy with cancer or whatever, serial killer or whatever. For a guy who was dying of cancer in the first one and then died like in the second or third film of the series, they sure find ways to bring him back for the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. And this one was like, it was almost confusing as to what was going on until the very end. And I don't mean confusing in a normal, like, twisty story way, like, wait, what? What's going on in this? And I guess they're kind of passing the mantle off to another fellow to be I guess a killer. And I don't know, Ben Harley. Here's my advice for you. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you see the film Jigsaw, just remember Timo just said, keep walking.
Just
keep walking. Ain't worth it. Yeah. Series has run its course. It's run its course. I really did not. I disdained, I think, the last one or the last couple. I was done with them. They were awful. But
yeah, I've yet to watch one of them, and I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I got to tell you, the stories, the writing, and everything is very interesting in them. It's a whirlwind, and it keeps you going in circles, and it's very, very cool. And to be honest with you, there's not the torture is the suspense of what's going to happen. Sure. In most of it, they do get kind of gory kills and stuff, but it is what it is, But anyway, and look, I'm the first one who said I can't stand any modern films, but I have to admit that some of those were at least interesting enough for me to watch. Okay,
yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, okay. So last up, Mr. Ben Harley, just watched this yesterday.
Okay.
But I want to tell you about it. It's a curious one. Like last week, we talked about Primal Rage, the Bigfoot film. We did get word back from our good friend Mr. Mark Diamond from the Dwarves, who is right now in Uruguay, rocking the Southern Hemisphere.
That's right.
That he really enjoyed, obviously, Primal Fear.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to, or Primal Rage. I'm sorry, Primal Rage.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a look see at that.
Yeah, we'll have to have Mark on the show to talk about that. So, but this one, Mr. Ben Hart, this is this week's little special one. Little one that I'm going to tell Ben Hurley, maybe check this one out. I don't know. This is on Amazon Prime, so there's no cost involved besides the cost that you already paid to Amazon to have Prime. The film is called Island Zero.
Island Zero.
Not
Monster Zero.
Well, no, not Monster Zero, but this is a fairly well written. It's low budget, okay, but not like Camcorder low budget. It's just you can tell it's just kind of. It's not a $20 million movie. Let's put it that way.
Okay, sure.
But it's a fairly well written, old fashioned monster movie. There's basically like these. Okay, there's a small community on an island, and it's basically Night of the Big Heat. Is what I'm trying to say. But so these people are on an island. They get cut off from civilization, and anybody that tries to leave the island, they don't make it.
Okay.
So what your worry is in 2018 is that this film is going to be some kind of dream state. They're going into some different dimension or something like that. No. This is not that. I'm very glad to report it is a creature feature, but they're invisible squid creatures. So the invisible thing, there's your low budget. Okay. Yeah. But, they can be seen on those like infrared cameras. And a girl on the island had just gotten one for Christmas. And when you kill them, they become visible again. And they explain all this. It's like a cross between Island of Terror and Fiend Without a Face with the brain monsters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
So it is a bit. Now this movie moves a little bit more of at a pace because it is fleshing out a story for you. But this is one of these movies where it starts off, you get to know a couple people, something really weird happens. They try to figure out that is, something weirder happens, and then they're on the hunt. It's a mystery. They're trying to figure out what's going on and who's doing it or what's doing it. Okay. I like that. You know why? It's about the monsters, not the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it relies on story and dialogue, and most of the effects are through that infrared camera. So you can cheat your way through that so easy. The problem I have is there's no real ending. It's 100% left open for a sequel, 150% left open for a sequel. And also, and a matter of fact, and I'm going to give Angie some credit, she actually came upon me as I was watching this. Wasn't watching it with her, but she came upstairs for us to hang out at night, and I was still looking at it. And she said, "What is this?" And I told her, I said, "I don't know. It's just, I didn't remember the name of the movie when I was watching it because I didn't know if I was going to like it or not." And she said, "It looks like a TV show." So it does look a little bit like it feels a little bit like a pilot for a TV series. Almost.
Oh, really?
Almost. Not totally. It's just interesting enough compared to all the crap coming out today. You might want to give it a shot. Plus, like I said, it's on Prime. It's called Island Zero.
Island Zero.
Zero.
That sounds different, and I could use a little different as far as movies go, too, especially something new. It's funny, though. I'll hunt through Prime, and I swear to God, I'll spend 20 minutes hunting through, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't even watch it.
That's what I do. I do that a lot, too. I hunt through my watch list and can't find anything that I can't decide. It's like 5 things. I don't know if I want to watch a documentary or a horror film, I have no idea. There's
worse problems, huh? Right, Timo? There's worse problems.
Oh, yeah. No, not in my world, which is, I'm happy about that. So, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing fine, doing just fine.
Island
Give it a shot. I'm not guaranteeing everybody's going to love this film or anything. I got hooked into it and appreciated it for the similarities we just didn't buy the big heat. It's way better than that.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, it's way better than that. Like it is very similar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The big heat.
But that's why I wrote down. It's more like Island of Terror meets Fiend Without a Face, because Island of Terror actually had monsters, and it's very similar, very similar. So, but like I said, check it out. Give it a try. All right. Last but not least, Mr. Ben Harley. Last but not least, and for some reason, I guess I didn't write anything about this down, so I'm gonna go in blind here. I do believe this movie was 1987. And we continued on our John Carpenter freak out. Watched They Live.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Right. Yes, They Live. Obey.
No. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that film, Tim?
Well, that was probably the first Carpenter movie. Well, no, Big Trouble in Little China takes that prize. That I was like, ooh, woof. Yeah. I did not like it when it came out. I didn't like it at all. As the years go on, I like it more and more, to the point now where I actually think I enjoy it. I think it's kind of fun. I don't like the 15-minute hand battle in the film. I know a lot of people get a kick out of that. I just don't want to see two people fight that long. I get the gimmick of it, but at the same time, I like a story. And I don't mind a fight. Sure. I don't mind a fight. Right. All right. But if two people fight for 10 minutes in a movie, it's like... They used to call that a mistake of editing. I don't know. But what was funny, though, about it, and we were just talking about this before the show, that Roddy Piper is in it. So I was talking to Angie about Roddy Piper, and I said, well, Roddy Piper got famous for one segment. She's like, what's that? Well, I said, this could only happen in the 80s. This could only happen in the early 80s, actually. I said... he used to do a thing called Piper's Pit, and I said he had the wrestler Jimmy Snuka come out for an interview and smashed his head with a pineapple.
And then shoved coconuts in his face. Tore down the set.
Yeah. It was infamous. It was violent, racist, anything you can imagine. It was right there in front of you. And it was intentional to get to give people, to give them heat. As you guys would say, to give him some heat. Too. Oh, God, yeah, did it. Oh, my God.
There was a time there where Piper couldn't do anything but get heat. Like, he didn't even mean to. And it was, some of that. He was,
one of the greatest heels in history. One of the greatest heels in history. Yeah. So, but anyway.
He turned. But, the movie, They Live.
Yeah, so I do enjoy this a lot more. I really do. Yes.
I didn't like it a lot.
I didn't either, but I think years...
I appreciated it, but I don't know. I didn't see what everybody else saw.
Well...
Obey.
Yeah. I don't either really as much, but it was... I know it was a political commentary, and I think that might have hurt for me a little bit. I don't like very political movies. Not when they're like, those are sneaky political movies almost.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I don't really appreciate them a whole lot, but we're a little bit removed now from 1987 or whenever it was.
Yeah.
So we've had decades of problems since then. So I'm okay, you know. But I just enjoy it more now. I just do. I just think it's not that bad. And I gotta be honest with you too. I kind of like seeing Roddy Piper. And I think he should have been in bigger movies. You know, I know he was in a lot of movies.
And he was good, you know.
Yeah.
He was by far and away, besides maybe Heenan at the time, and Flair, you know what I mean? But like then just he could command a mic.
Right.
Like nobody. He got a little crazy there after a while where he just was going, he was running off too much.
Right.
But when he was on, he was on.
Right. So, but I had pretty good time watching it, though. I have to admit. So, like I said, I'm with you that I did not enjoy it, and you know, and I was really depressed after I saw that too because I thought, well, you know, maybe, what was it? Big Trouble in Little China. Maybe that's just an aberration. Yeah. You know, and then right around that time too, Prince of Darkness came out, and that was a tough one when it first came out. That was tough. I really enjoyed that film now too, a lot. So I think
I do too.
Yeah,
it was okay. When it came out, it was okay. But I see where you're coming from too. It's just I don't know. I liked it, but it wasn't one that I went back after and watched a lot at all, and still haven't really watched it a lot.
Right,
maybe 4 or 5 times in my life, maybe.
Right,
I saw it in the theater.
Well, there was a series of about 3 or 4 films that Carpenter did where I just completely disowned him more or less. But it was funny they've aged.
What's that Halloween one?
But his films, all of them, really. I'm gonna leave Big Trouble in Little China. I just don't like the movie.
I did back in the day, but that doesn't hold up. That one does not at all.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, I kind of liked it when I was younger. I thought, this is kind of. You know, but I liked everybody that pretty much that was in it. You know what I mean? But then when I think you and I reviewed it not too long ago, ooh, ouch.
Yeah, that was terrible. I mean, I just think it's bad. So, but his movies are definitely now our freak out. We're getting a little thin on the freak out, so we're getting into like Ghost of Mars and vampire territory, vampires. So we'll see. Vampire. Now, I got to be honest with you though. Like even last time I saw Ghost of Mars, I thought, oh, wait a minute, this is even better than. I remember. I think my expectations for Carpenter, since he did Halloween, which is my favorite film, is just way off the charts. It's way too high. And I think as I come back to him with those low expectations to be met again, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. But but they live. So Carpenter Freak Out. Still going on strong. I don't know if we'll get to him this week, but what you got, Mr. Ben Harley? What you got?
Well, yeah, Tim, I've also been on somewhat of a freak out. Not really meaning to be, but, you know, Shark Week was a couple weeks back and stuff, but I think it's sci-fi maybe where I don't really care. Was doing a freak out, like a shark freak out. You know, I know there's a lot of shark movies. I didn't really know there was that many shark movies.
Right.
So I put my little beanie's eyes on a couple. Okay. They were playing like all in a row, and I happened to be behind my press for I don't want to say hours, but let's say days.
I was going to say, okay.
Days and days. So, but I did do a little freak out. The first one I want to talk about, Swamp Shark. Ugh. Swamp Shark. It had Christy Swanson, I do believe, in it.
Okay.
And
was she chunky? I like her when she's chunky.
Yeah.
I like her when she's curvy. Go ahead.
And it had a couple other, little cuties in it and stuff, and not too bad of a movie. You know, they really, it looks like they gave it somewhat of an attempt. Not too bad. But. It is what it is. I'm not going to recommend these movies but this is one out of all the ones I watched, pretty much. This is one they really, they kind of gave it a good shot.
Really? Okay? A Swamp Shark?
It's okay.
I'm just asking. Yeah. Because it happens.
It's not bad.
Uh-huh.
It's
not the Asylum? It's not the Asylum is what you're saying?
No. I'm going to get to bad.
All right. No, I got you.
It might be Asylum, but not quite. It's not. They tried. Let's put it that way. They really kind of tried.
Like those,
a lot of Jaws, references. If not the exact line, the mind changed a little. You know what I mean?
Right.
Certain things. Actually, some Jaws 2 references also in a couple of these movies.
Oh my!
Yeah. So they were digging.
Yeah.
At least they're not Jaws 4 references.
I was going to say,
knows them.
Put the shovel down. Put the shovel down. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I watched one right after called Frenzy. And this one actually wasn't a bad movie. It's about these people. They got on a plane and the plane crashes, but it's a small little Piper plane or whatever. But they all pretty much survive. One guy's in kind of bad shape, but he's still able to miraculously hold on to some wreckage though through most of it.
Okay.
But he doesn't look real good. He's got a hell of a grip, Tim.
Gotcha.
But it's about, it's a couple girls, couple guys, and they get, and they're out in the water and they're sharks, They do swim towards it like I thought it was like a deep water horizon or whatever, like a oil rig or something, but it ends up being like a little island, small little island. So basically the movie is kind of like Open Water meets what's the one with Jason Lively's sister in it, Shallows.
Oh, okay, The Shallows.
So it's kind of like that, but I tell you, I give people credit because they must have been watching Shark Week a lot. I mean, Shark Week has been on for a number of years now, and I think people are getting smart because, man, these people really they're not as afraid of sharks. And man, they've really come up with some like Wile E. Coyote type contraptions to snare these sharks in these movies or kill these sharks. But I'm going to give them credit. So maybe it is the Shark Week. I should be giving credit to, though. I don't know. People are getting smarter, but man,
it don't seem like it. But yeah.
The movies aren't getting smarter, but the people in them, man, right. I tell you, it's I don't know. So yeah, Frenzy. So I did watch a
It's just called Frenzy, not Shark Frenzy or anything, just Frenzy.
No,
okay.
Frenzy. Yeah.
Okay.
Not too bad, buddy. Not too bad.
Okay.
Now these one, those first two weren't so bad. I could I was printing and watching. Now the next about 10 of them, I think I watched about 10 in a row. I don't really know because they all started to blend together. A lot more swampy type sharks movies. There was some trying to think. I know they had the 6-headed shark attack. I think was on one night or whatever, but I did tape and I didn't quite finish it. And I was kind of excited about this one. It was called Trailer Park Shark. And Timo, I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to expose my my nastier nature. I'm thinking, okay, Trailer Park Sharks. It's going to have a shark in it. I like sharks.
Right.
I like some Trailer Park humor. I like the Trailer Park Boys. Mm-hmm. I thought, there's going to be some nasty redneck girls with their boobs pushed up and some short shorts, maybe missing a tooth or two, but looking cute. I was expecting all this. No, not so much.
No.
I say poo-poo to Trailer Park Shark.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I don't know. They got me, buddy. They got me, and, but like I said, I'm not kidding you, buddy. I don't know how many shark movies were on, but they all started to blend together. And I know I probably, I'm being a little over the top, but I did watch, I think about 4 in a row that I don't even remember. I thought at one point I was still watching the one movie and I was into another one. Okay. No.
Right.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just a different, part of these people. I don't know. I thought that was the same guy that was in, no, I was lost. So,
right.
Awful films, just awful. Like they're using cranes, to seriously, these are Wile E. Coyote. I mean, now Wile E. Coyote wouldn't even have used some of these contraptions that these people were using, to snare sharks or fight sharks. It's just, okay, it's not as bad as Sharks in Space, like Sharknado.
Well, that's what it was all leading to, right?
Right. I think, now, Tim, no, wait a second. Right. They were pushing this. Like I said, I tapped out 5 minutes into Sharknado 2, but I did finish up watching some of it later on. In the background.
Right.
I didn't, but I think they're on, is this 4 now? 5? I don't know. But it's supposed to be 6. Oh, crap. I'm way off. But I do believe this is their last one.
Yep.
But they're traveling back in time now.
Oh, God.
and Ben Franklin's involved. And I like Ben Franklin, so don't mess with Ben Franklin.
All right.
He's a badass already. Don't bring him into Sharknado territory.
Gotcha.
All right?
Yep.
So, yes, they're going back in time. So look
do they
out
mix
for
and
it.
match like historical characters who lived like 100 years apart from each other too?
That's what it looks like. That's what they had.
They have like Genghis Khan and like,
they had a shark
JFK.
surfing. I know
together.
that. I saw a shark surfing at one point. That was nice. Chase a little girl up the beach. So.
I think we tapped out on the third one. It was the third one we watched. That was the one in space, I think.
Yeah, you said they came back and Buck Rogers was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. It was like and then there was the fourth Be With You. I don't know. There was I at some point I was like, okay, it's funny, I'm done. It's like I'm done. If one comes across my eyes, I might look at it, but it's like the joke is worn thin. A little bit and stuff. Yeah. And then I think it's people watch them because they're bad.
Yeah. They are bad.
That's not helping cinema in general.
No, it's not.
They're either so stupid you had to beat your brains out of your head to watch it, or they're so damn heavy-handed that you just got to get it. You got to get away and drink some happy juice or something after you watch a movie anymore. It doesn't.
Just in a closet in a dark space.
Yeah. I'm sitting there watching They Live, which is a goofy movie. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it more, because it's like, oh God, thank you. Thank you for just giving me that goofiness. Like, oh.
Right. All right, Timo. Yeah. Last but not least, I've been watching a few things on the Roku channel. And Sydney and I were watching. It's funny, she's having a little hard time with her speech, but she's saying more and more things. But I guess she is my daughter. She knows how to say werewolf.
There you go.
So it's more like werewolf. Or she kind of gives a little howl, so it's nice. I like it. I dig it. But I don't let her see too much of the like real hardcore stuff. But anytime, like if I'm watching a movie and some kind of theatrical music comes up, no matter where she is, she comes running in, and we do the whole shoo, that was close, and I try to. But we watched the other night, not all of it. I watched more than her, but she sat with me for quite a bit and watched Silver Bullet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and it was on Roku. It looked really good. I had a couple issues, one of the nights, but it, for the most part, looked great. Like just crystal clear, just beautiful. And I think that movie actually gets better as it goes on. And I don't have a problem with the werewolf. I know there is one part where he gets shot in the eye. That one's a little bit straining, but the rest of it I don't have much of a problem with. Actually, even as I've gotten older and watched it more, I even have less of a problem with it. The suit and whatever, and they do a good enough job of keeping it hidden. It's a little teddy bear like. That's the only problem I guess I have really with it. But man, I just like this movie. I think I like it more and more. Like, just the more I see it, as I've gotten older, I just think I like it. I just enjoy it more. I think it's one of his better adaptations. And you know what, Timo? Old Dino De Laurentiis. That's produced by him.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I forgot.
Yeah.
Maybe even.
Yeah. I tell you what, that movie to me, and I've always really liked it. And now that it's really fresh in your mind. And do you see what I'm saying when it really reminds me of To Kill a Mockingbird?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It really reminds me of To Kill a Mockingbird a lot. And in its tone and if you throw a werewolf to Kill a Mockingbird, you'd have it. But I like the girl's narration. I think it gives a good tone to the film. And it kind of puts you out of reality and takes you back to a different time a little bit in a really good way.
Yeah, it's got a dreamy like quality to it at times. Like there's a point when he leaves his friend, and he's flying the kite still, and his eyes looking at him almost like for the last time type thing. Right. He doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? But like there's some scenes like that. The bar scenes are really good. The acting is superb in this film, I think, too, man. The acting, and there's some goofy stuff, too, but I like that part.
Right.
Now, when I was younger, too, I liked Gary Busey's character in this. it's not that I don't like his character as I've gotten older, but he's much more abrasive to me. You know what I mean? Like, as I've gotten older, I'm like, I see why, his sister's like, oh God, or.
Well, you're a parent now.
He's just, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
and he's just, but, I still like his character in it. And I think he is a vital part to that movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, but yeah, I really like it. And, I always forget the guy's name, the gentleman that plays the priest.
Everett McGill.
Werewolf. Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah.
He's awesome in it.
Yeah.
Just awesome in it, and the reveal's great.
Yeah.
I think they do it well. It's hard for me to look at it objectively anymore because I know the reveal.
Right, exactly.
Forever.
Yeah.
So I try to look at it through someone else's perspective, and I was this time trying to look at stuff like, well, holes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did pretty good at not revealing him,
right.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the dream sequences, maybe because he has that one dream,
right.
Right.
And, and then
there's also a part when he's trying to get them not to go out, looking for some street justice or what do they call it?
They were doing a posse.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that part.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that part.
Yeah.
I just love it when they go out
Peacemaker.
there. Yeah. When they go out, and it's foggy, and then just the interactions of the characters are great. And one of my favorite parts is, "You gonna make lemonade in your pants?" Oh, I love it, love it. And then it's just, I think it's a great movie. I appreciate the scene too with the father of like his friend, his Marty's friend or whatever's the girl's father that gets killed.
Yeah.
Like in the shed.
Yeah,
that's
he's watching wrestling, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the rebel. I'm a rebel. We'll kick some ass tonight, rebel. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That guy plays a good drunk, man. Because you like, it's just the whole thing is just, it's, I don't know, it's tense. I like it.
It's a good movie.
It's good. I enjoy it. It's gone way further up my list of werewolf films over the years. It keeps climbing. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to succeed American Werewolf or The Howling anytime soon, but it's getting closer to those ones.
It's right there. I think that
there's not many. And I was trying to explain to Wendy the other day too. We're watching it, and saying how this is such a good movie, and there are good werewolf movies out there. But then all of a sudden, there's the reveal of the werewolf, and it, that's it, and then it ruins the film sometimes,
right?
And so
just go back and see Moon of the Wolf and see if there's a difference, right? The movie we just watched was a good movie. But the werewolf was basically a guy with a wig on and a button nose. I mean, that's pretty much, right. Yeah. So, but no, I've always really enjoyed Silver Bullet. I just think that it was,
me too. It's just gotten better and better. And I like that. I'm so happy about that, because I don't want it to get worse. And there's a lot of movies that I liked back then came out around this time that I thought I liked a lot more. And then I'm like, ooh.
Well, that's what I'm feeling with these John Carpenter movies too. They're actually getting a little better. They're getting a little bit like, oh, well, that wasn't, but there's a lot of, I tell you what, you see a lot of crap and you start going back going, wait a minute, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But the thing is that it's only comparatively. It's only comparatively. It's not that bad. Now, Silver Bullet, the first time I watched it, I was in love. I thought this was one of the greatest films I'd seen. I mean, I just loved it.
A lot. Yeah,
and I think that it holds up for me. It holds up as well. But that's nice that you went back to it.
The werewolf fell apart for me as I got older. Yeah. And that was always a sticking point for me. And it's not like not that I was like, oh, here it comes. I'm upset. I just would be like, and then the better the transfers got, the more you saw it too. Right. But then I went into this you know what? Damn it, no. I like this movie. It's so good. And the werewolf is good.
Yeah, it's okay.
They don't show it that much. When it comes crashing through the window and attacks the girl.
Yeah.
Badass, man. Yeah. Here he comes. He climbed at the, it's good stuff.
Right. It's like they say it was wisely hidden from screen for most of the film.
If
but you do get werewolves.
Baker, Monster Maker in there.
Yeah.
You probably would have, a little bit even.
Yeah.
But it's I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Timo, but I think Silver Bullet almost is more remembered. I think it's definitely more remembered than The Howling.
It is,
with most horror fans. Maybe not so much the American Werewolf, but almost I think sometimes because I see it more often than I see American Werewolf. You know what I mean? But in better perspective. You know what I mean? There are because it's Stephen King. You know what I'm saying? It's Stephen King. So, but hey, happy to watch. I'm glad I watched it. Grr, Timo.
I'm gonna have to go back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that sometime soon too. So that's all you got.
That's all I got, Tim.
All right, let's get to our official little films, and we'll go and how about with this? We'll go in chronological order.
Okay.
So from 1959, 1959. Yeah, The Bat.
Yeah,
The Bat.
The old Bat.
Yeah, which is another remake. Which is another remake of there was The Bat Whispers. And there was a
Devil Bat.
There was this was a novel and a stage play. And actually,
oh really?
Yeah, and actually,
feel more like one now that you tell me that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think Mary Pickford actually owned the rights to it, and she produced the silent version. I don't think we've watched the silent version, but we did watch The Bat Whispers, which was only made like 5 years later or something like that.
Okay.
If you remember The Bat Whispers, that was one where you had your eek moment.
Yeah.
You'd lost control of everything for a second. You're thrown off by an old movie that scared the shit out of you. Yeah. For a second. So let me get out a movie guy here and give you a storyline synopsis here for The Bat.
Okay.
There we go. Vincent Price stars in this thriller about a downtrodden country estate that becomes the site of a horrific murder. Prolific writer-director Crane Wilbur, he walked by night, Crime Wave, helms this feature with a cast that includes Agnes Moorehead, Gavin Gordon, and in her last film role, Darla Hood of the Our Gang comedies.
Yep, Darla.
Which of them is the mysterious killer known as the Bat? You'll find out soon enough, but beware, the scream you hear may be your own.
Oh.
If I'm screaming at the movie, it's not because I'm scared. I'm mad at something. Tell you that much right now. So this is, the 1959 version. Vincent Price, Agnes Moorehead. Yes, and Darla. Darla played Julie Hollander in the film. This was always kind of a neat little thing. I like Darla. This film was released by the Film Detective, who gave us the re-release of the Bigfoot movie, the really bad Bigfoot movie where it's like two movies stitched together.
Yeah, 10 years apart.
Yeah. So they gave us that. They gave us that movie too. I do believe this company, which they kind of stole my idea. They're taking public domain movies and they're like sprucing them up a little bit. Because a lot of public domain movies, they don't get good releases because anybody can release them.
Sure.
But not everybody takes any time to do anything except just rip a copy to a copy and sell it, or
right,
like
or
that,
put them in a 10-pack. Yeah,
right.
10 movies on one. Yeah,
I got too many of those suckers too. So, but this was I believe it was apparently according to IMDb, and I'm a little suspicious here. It says it's the fourth film adaptation of the novel stage play.
Wow.
So there's The Bat, that's the silent one. The Bat Whispers, okay? And then this Bat, The Bat. So there's two The Bats, and then there's The Bat Whispers. I can't locate whatever they think the third one is. However, it could have been a television thing because there was a lot of like I don't want to call them Twilight Zone, but every week they'd have like the Bill Ford Theater presents, The Bat tonight, The Bat by the play, so they have something like that. So that might have been what they're referring to. From what I know, this is the third version of it. There's lots of Bat movies, but this is from the lineage that gave us your friend Batman. Still,
Batman. Yeah.
So now we did do the Bat Whispers not too terribly long ago. Right. But is this the first time you've seen this version?
Yes, sir.
What'd you think about the Bat?
Not too bad, buddy. I'm not sure I like the Bat himself character.
Not as spooky as the 30 version, is it?
No, no, I like that guy. This could have called this guy maybe the Claw, a little bit, or something, know. But as far as the movie goes, it was okay. Like at first. Getting into it, find out the characters and stuff like that, find out my girl Darla was in it and all that, I'm excited. I was into it. He came across much more of a murder mystery, type thing, or, there's so some money missing from a bank, and we know who took it,
Right.
and his plan goes up in smoke or in flame, actually. And so you basically, it's introducing all these characters, Vincent Price, and Vincent Price right off the bat, pretty much, no pun intended, is bad. He's bad. So I kind of enjoyed that. It did have a little lull for me, but there's a point where, and then maybe this is kind of reminding me of the stage play. Now that you mentioned it, maybe this had a lot to do with it. But from the point, kind of, there was people have been attacked by the bat. He'd been seen in the house and stuff. So there was a detective who'd been there, and he was kind of helping. They had 4 ladies, actually a lot of ladies in the house. And did you notice actually there was a lot of ladies?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Which was cool.
Right.
Right. Now they weren't as young and shapely as I'd like, as most of them, but they still like them nonetheless.
Neither am I. So.
Yes. Well, I'm shapely, but not the good shape. But, which I thought was really cool. I liked it, and they did carry the movie for a lot of it, and, so I liked it, but there's a part from the night scene where the detective stays and stuff to it was maybe about a 15-minute point. It's just like I really enjoyed it, like the acting, the way the scenes were set up, the way they were shot, the movement throughout the camera, everything throughout the scene was just awesome, and it really had me kind of going. But I just kind of was a little bit let down, I guess, by the bat itself. It just, I don't know. It wasn't really spooky enough, I guess, maybe.
No, he just had like a black felt thing over his face. And he did have hand claws. He
had a nice hat.
He did. Nice hat. He sure did, yeah.
And he gave a hell of a judo chop.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. But it just, so I don't know. I that was a little bit of a letdown. But for the most part, I liked all the acting in it. I thought the acting was really, really pretty good. I liked the detective guy and stuff like that. I won't give away the reveal or anything.
Right.
But I thought overall it was a good movie. It wasn't scary enough for me or dark enough, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it had a little bit of a milk toasty kind of feel to it that like the bat whispers didn't seem to have.
Sure. Okay.
My thing is like when this is I guess like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen this, but the first time I saw it, I remembered really getting into the beginning of it, where Vincent Price and the guy from the bank are like on a hunting trip together.
Yep. And
they're in a cabin. Yeah, and they're in a cabin. And that's when they reveal, like, I stole money and I know where it is. And
$1 million.
Yeah. And Vincent Price is all like, oh, where is it? And he tells him, he's like, well, I don't believe you'd actually tell me where it is. I think it's somewhere else, So I was like all roped in and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then, they get into a hand battle. And then Vincent Price, he runs off with the place. He runs off with the place. But wasn't it burning though? Didn't he set the place on fire?
Was like on fire.
The
forest was,
Okay, So he gets out of there. He hightails it. My problem with the movie more than anything is that the beginning of it really sucked me in, and then it just kind of really abruptly shifts gears to the spooky house movie. Except it was shot a little. It was lit a little harshly for a spooky house movie.
Yeah.
I do like the miniatures and stuff with these houses. I think they're kind of fun.
Yeah, that beginning miniature was cool.
Yeah, I do like that stuff.
Right then.
Oh, I know. I was ready to put train tracks next to it. And I was ready to have a trade set, or whatever. But I do like that. I like that in all the old films, too. I think it's kind of neat to see the miniatures and stuff. But
a lot of them look really good.
Yeah. But the problem is that, Vincent Price is kind of like, really like not around for a lot of this film.
No.
For a guy who stars in it, he's really not there very much. Not long enough to make him a good red herring. It's just kind of, I don't know, there. And he's not a hero. He's not a total villain. He's more of a villain of opportunity.
Sure.
It wasn't like he came up with all these plans. It was like, oh, he got an opportunity to maybe get a million clams, and he's going for it, So I mean, so everything is okay. I actually do like the banter between Agnes Moorehead and her like assistant, with her and stuff. And I like that in the older films too. So I think that that's pretty good. And Agnes Moorehead, I like her. She was
What is she
she was at was it Endora from Bewitched?
Yep,
she was the mom.
Yeah.
I guess.
Or
was it the aunt? Or was it mother-in-law?
No, the
yeah,
mother-in-law.
I got you. Yeah, so she was Endora from Bewitched. So, but
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Figure it out.
I'd be good for it. But I like the Bat Whispers a whole hell of a lot more. But I also do like this movie. I do like it. I like the story of it. I do like the mystery. It's got some twists and turns to it.
Yeah.
It's not a huge shocker who the bat is, but it's fairly well muddled up, to where you could be somebody else. You don't know. So, but again, I would still go back and watch the Bat Whispers more, but I can't say anything wrong about this except for what I have. It needs more Vincent Price. It needs to be a little bit more dark. Now, 1959 wasn't exactly. We weren't pushing the envelope with subject matter in films. That was saved for about another 10 years later. Actually about 20 years before, about 10 years later, we went through kind of a dry period. But I can't poop on it. I'd say this movie to me is just a mild grape ape up, and it's a respectful one too, because it's made well. Like I said, acting is good. Everybody does their role. Everybody does their part very well. And I've seen, oh my God, have I seen worse than this? Oh, yeah.
I think there's some really good acting in this film. Too. Yeah, really. There's some good back and forth and just good stuff, you know. And it makes me think. 'Cause I know we watch some English movies and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. These actors here are just as good as anybody out. Like some of it was really good.
Right.
So that helped me.
And Darla's kind of neat to see because it just still looks like Darla. Yeah. It still looks like Darla. Doesn't it? Yeah, you can totally tell. So, but mild grape ape up. I'm gonna give it a mild grape ape up. A respectful one. I'm not even like it's not even I guess a mild. No, it's a grape ape up. It's just not a real big one. I'll go back and watch this again. I know I will, but it didn't really make me want to see or search for like a Blu-ray of the Bat Whispers or something though, because I really want to go back and watch that again. I really like that movie, but but this is a respectable version of that same story. What do you think, Ben Harley?
Yeah, Tim, I'm going to give it just kind of more of a mild grape ape up. I liked it. I said I liked the acting and some of it, and maybe it's just because I've been doing a lot more trying to act myself, I guess, and things like that.
Oh, you're hateful. No, you're not acting. That's real. I know that hate. I know it.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but I just noticed it. I've been noticing a lot more lately, and that helps me a lot, especially on these older films, because what it lacks in monster sometimes and stuff, they make up for in creepy light and shadow and good storyline and just good, not just acting, but they're written well. And so that's what I look forward to with a lot of these older films, and things. And this had it for me. So, but just a mild grape ape. I wish that I would give it more of a grape ape up if the bat looked. He didn't even have to look more like a bat. He didn't have to look like a bat.
Looks like a gangster trying to hide his identity.
Yeah, like a gangster.
That's fine if that's what he is, but it's like, that's not, and he's not. But I'm just saying, it's like, but at the same time, come on, man. Yeah. Give him some googly eyes or something. I mean,
a cape or something.
Yeah, like a fake nose and mustache or something.
Something. Like something. Yeah. I don't know.
And they tried to make
that would have worked well, Tim. You're right. You could have even just some eyes. They just showed them once in a while from a distance.
That's kind of what they did in the first one. It's kind of, I should say 1931. It's kind of what they did.
That was good. Yeah.
Well, and they kept making hay out of the fact that they would see someone lurking about and they had no face. Yeah. Now, I mean, that kind of reminds me of Native Americans being stupid because they didn't have cell phones or something. It's like, I think those people could have seen that guy and went, man, there's some spooky dude with a sock over his head.
Yeah, what's that guy doing?
He doesn't have a face. I mean, come on,
He's beating himself blind over in the bushes.
Yeah, but all right, well, you're going to give a mild grape ape up, and I'm going to give a mild grape ape up also to we're already doing better in the last couple of weeks. We're already we're batting 1,000 compared to the last couple of weeks. So let's get to our next official film here, Mr. Ben Harley.
Sure. Yeah. Later.
Moving ahead to 1987, almost 30 years later. We have the Canadian film Does that make now? Is it all coming together for you?
No, it's all coming
Is it all coming together for you now? The Canadian film American Gothic.
Yes.
All right, American Gothic. Let me get out movie guy here and get you a storyline synopsis. Here we go.
Okay.
When 6 young friends fly off on a weekend getaway and suddenly find themselves with engine trouble, they have no choice but to land on a remote Pacific island. Looking for shelter, they are grateful when they meet Ma and Pa and their children, an eccentric family living in the backwoods, as if it's still the late 1920s. But what begins as a simple old-school hospitality becomes a terrifying race for survival, when one by one, the friends start disappearing and dying horrible deaths. Fleeing the outside world many years ago, the family has created an island domain where all strangers are sinners, and the killing has never stopped. Okay, not too bad there. Yeah, there we go. There's a plane, right?
Yep.
And it lands on an island. It's having engine trouble, I guess. And the people start exploring the island. And yes, they find a weird, goofy, bizarre, eerie, creepy family. No chance in hell that there's any inbreeding going on.
No.
And we've seen this story before. We've seen this type of story before, right? Kids getting lost. They find like the creepy cabin in the forest that nobody can get to, and there's like a awful, like gross family like living there, and they're ready to eat people and stuff. So we've seen this stuff before. However, I don't know if we've seen characters quite like these that often.
No.
This is much more of a insanity. More than homicidal.
Yeah,
this is just insanity. I mean, it's off the rockers. People that live there. Now, this used to play a lot on like USA Network and stuff. So it played on, I think, USA Up All Night. They'd have, USA Network. We talk about every now and then. We'd also play some of these cool movies like at night or on Saturday afternoons or something. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I saw American Gothic was televised on that. If not, it was Cinemax or something like that, but I'm pretty sure it was this one. The one thing about this movie, I'm going to hand it over to you, that I always liked about it is it had a really icky sense of doom and dread, and it was just eerie and creepy, no matter how funny it was, no matter this and that. And for God's sake, they had the common decency to finally cast Michael J. Pollard in one of these movies, because he's perfect. He's perfect in this same thing. And then Rod Steiger plays the father. Yeah. The crazy father of the house or whatever. And Yvonne DiCarlo, otherwise known as Lily Munster. Yeah. So she was Munster. Right. So she was the mother, matriarch of the family. And also this was directed by a one John Ho, who did Legend of Hell House. Oh, also did The Incubus, Return from Witch Mountain, Escape to Witch Mountain, Watcher in the Woods, Twins of Evil, Crazy Larry, or Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. Oh, did that one too. So we got him. He is a British director, I do believe he was. So so we got that going. So what do you think, Ben Harley, about the American Gothic? Gothic.
Tim, I can't remember if I've ever seen this before. I feel like I have, but I just watching it, I don't know. I just wasn't.
I think you remember.
Wasn't ringing any bells.
I think you'd remember if you've seen it, because I remembered it clearly. Yeah.
And this really is like, I should say, our type of film. Tim, that's not very nice.
It's your type of film.
I like that. I like that creepy. You get stuck out in the woods, and you come across the creepy cabin or whatever.
Well, it's a descent into madness, which you like too a lot. I know you like that.
Very much so. Yeah. And I like, I don't know though that Tim, I probably would have went up and rapped on the door maybe a little bit and looked around. Well, then I'm going to go in and have a Roaring 20s style party with somebody else's clothes, no, it's just, and then digging through stuff.
Really awkward.
Yeah.
That was really awkward. It goes on forever.
Yes.
It goes on forever. They're dancing like ragtime stuff. And
oh, jeez. Yeah. Then the guy, like, man, there's like Jimmy Durante, eat your heart out. I was like, oh my God. Anyways, but
totally making fun of it. Totally making fun.
Oh
of it.
yeah, for sure. But no, so then they end up getting caught or the people come home.
Mm-hmm.
The
Sounds
mom,
like the
Paul.
Three Little Bears almost in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Three Bears.
And it's and it's kind of really awkward because I liked the scene, not the dancing scene, but when they came in, because it's awkward. Like, you're not supposed to be there. You shouldn't have been doing what you were doing. The father, the Paul, has the look on his face of, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Right.
But, Ma's like, oh, that's okay. And it's just a really weird scene.
Right.
And the tension on Paul's face or Rod Steiger's face, whatever. Oh my God.
Right.
The look on his face, man. Wow. He could turn you to stone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that
he's a bit of an intense actor. Yeah.
Yes. That was a really tense scene, So the rest of that, like the whole part of them, having the kids stay and stuff like that and having dinner is very awkward. And I liked that part. I liked that.
You like seeing other people in awful, awkward situations because it's not you.
It's not me, right? Yeah, exactly.
I think I figured that's why you really like it. I just feel awkward for him. I don't know what to do, you know. But
and so but up until then they find the daughter, which actually is a really creepy scene too, because the girl goes upstairs and she just peeks her head out like, hi.
Right.
And she does. She looks like little orphan Annie, but she's about 50 some years old, right. Whoa, where's this going? Wait a second, then I'm like, okay, I like it. I like where it's going. Now, the rest of the movie is really good. And then I did still kind of like it. I just think it was missing a few things. And it happens to do with the characters, I guess. And it's the kids. I think all three looked a little bit too different. One looked like he shopped it. I don't know, Tractor Supply. And then she looked like little orphan Annie, which kind of did fit the rest of everybody.
Yeah, she was creepy. She was the best, yeah.
Yeah, and then what's his name? The little creepy guy that we like.
Michael J. Pollard.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
He kind of fit
played
the bill.
Woody.
Woody. I just think he needed to be a little greasy. Maybe. I don't know.
He's like that in general. I love Michael J. Pollard. That's what I was saying. They finally put him in one of these movies.
I just think they should have been, I don't know. I mean, they're living out that far from nothing. I just thought the family should be a little, but then again, they were the way they were. I'm sure behind your ears.
Hold on. Now, if this was a Rob Zombie movie, you'd be bitching they were all dirty. And they were all slimy and gross.
And there's dirty and there's I've been working, you know what I mean?
I thought it kind of fit. I kind of fit though, because they were so in their minds, so Christian.
Yeah.
That prayer that they say that Rod Steiger says before dinner is downright frightening. I don't know if you noticed what he was saying, but none of it. It was basically like an Ultimate Warrior, promo. Yeah. It made no sense. I mean, there was nothing that was making sense at all.
No.
I thought the kids, like the big doofy guy, he was okay. But I just liked the way they killed people. It wasn't like they jumped out of somewhere and did it. They lured
I like how
them.
they
lured.
From a visual standpoint, that's the problem I was having. But and I'm not super smart, Timo, but like Timo Saban told me, he said they show you stuff in movies. Why, Timo?
There's a reason. There's a reason that's going to come up again.
I kind of saw through a little bit of what was happening, what was going to happen, which is I was okay with. But it was funny. I called a few things too. As soon as that one poor guy went out there to the swing,
that was
I was like, well,
funny.
that swing, someone's gonna go off that thing, and I just didn't know it was gonna be that quick. I liked that scene; that was good. And then from there, it kind of amps up. I do like this movie. I thought it was good. I just think it could have used a little something more, and I really can't put my finger on it. Visually, maybe something or whatever. It just needed a little something more, maybe. But I was kind of pleasantly surprised that what I had thought was going to happen kind of happened too in the film.
Right.
And but I liked the characters too. It wasn't like
it's a good cast. Yeah, it's a
and
good
was
cast of character actors, you know, basically.
Exactly. And I like the one girl, the one blonde. She had a little Amy Steele thing.
Oh, thank you. I have written down right here Amy Steele's hotter sister.
Yeah,
that's what I have.
Not as good an actress.
No, but I'm gonna. If we could spend the whole show talking about her name as Caroline Barkley, I would do it. I would spend the whole time talking about her because, and this is something funny, Mr. Ben Harley, and I'm sitting next to my wife Angio now.
Yeah,
we're like best friends. You know, I tell her when that chick's hot and stuff because she's not worried about it. She knows this and that. I almost didn't say anything. This chick was so hot. I was like. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. I might get in trouble. I might get in trouble on this one. But then I had to say something because we had to actually take a break. Yeah. And the reason is because as I was watching her, I went, oh my God, it's a female Kurt Russell. And I mean, once I thought that, I was like, I'm seeing Kurt Russell. And I'm really turned on. And I'm looking at Kurt Russell. And I looked over at Angela. I said, what's bothering me is now I know what you women see when you see young Kurt Russell. And I don't like that. I don't want to think that. Yeah, I mean, it just drove me nuts. But Ben Harley, I mean, that woman, I mean, telling you, like, I'm happily married, all that stuff like that. But boy, would I zero in on her at a certain date and time in my history. You know, man, gee whiz. Just one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. So now I don't want to overstate it. Yes, but there you go. Yeah. But she did look a lot like Kurt Russell. Looked a lot like Kurt Russell.
But she had the Amy Steele thing.
She did. Going, even Angio said that. Yeah. Even Angio. Yep. I
said she's not a near good an actress.
No, she's not.
But still, I still think she was a good actress. I'm not saying that.
I guess.
Yes, and the other girl too. I like the other girl, not the one that went kooky.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the other girl, though, we were watching it. Billy's like, yeah, that girl's from one of my mom's soaps, one of those stories. So the other girl, the one that got the jump rope treatment.
Right.
She's another character actress. But yeah, they're all actors, right?
Yeah, they sure are. Yeah. Right? So, I didn't like the noodly guy, the blonde guy. I mean, for some reason, I thought he was in on it. And I've seen this movie a couple times, and when he got it in the eye, I'm like, oh, that's right, he got it in the eye. But I could have swore he was like he lured them there. I was like, that's what I thought. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, no, I guess not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie, and I think I was thinking of something different. But I don't know. It's like the movie Dolls or something without killer dolls. And these kids are. This is all about arrested development. And being just completely cut off from civilization.
They don't want people there.
No, they don't. They don't want society.
That one guy thought he could fish there, Timo.
Oh, that's a bad.
And he was going to tell his friends about it.
That's right.
And they can't have that.
That's good enough reason for me, if you ask me.
They come around Dermal Ridge. I think about setting up a lemonade stand right here.
They're gone, Ben Harley. You won't see them again, will you? I think that guy might be on my private space. Oh, baby, you're out. Yeah,
man!
I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it a grape ape up, a solid one. Okay. I've always liked this movie, and it creeped me out when I saw it when I was a kid. It didn't scare me. It's just icky. It's just and then when they kind of convince the one girl that she's nuts too, which that's kind of a cool twist. It's kind of a cool turn. You can almost think it's over because one of the people that the last surviving person from the group of friends, for reasons you have to see the movie.
Yes,
for reasons, and I don't want to go into. There's some baby stuff in there. We'll keep that quiet in case you want to see this movie. But she kind of almost kind of just gets involved. Like she's one of the family. She starts losing her mind too. Yeah. The problem what they don't realize is she was already heading for a lost mine before she got there. So it's kind of cool how the movie twists into a revenge type thing, and that was pretty cool. And I had kind of forgotten about the revenge part. I had remembered up until when she went cuckoo, and then I was thinking that was going to how I remembered it is that was kind of the reveal. That was like the end of the movie. But then I realized there was 15 minutes left, and then when she started getting fired up herself, I'm like, oh, that's right. So that was a nice thing I'd forgotten. To go back in and see that too, so that was kind of cool. But again, I'm gonna give it a solid grape ape up. I think this is I like eerie movies. It's cuckoo, crazy, creepy. You know, it really is. It's made well.
Yes.
It's just a well-made movie.
Well.
Yeah. It's a psychological horror film. You know, for sure. It's not monsters and stuff, which usually I get a little upset with. I like monsters, but this is pretty good. I like it. I like it. So it's solid grape ape up. How about you, Ben?
I'm going to give it more of a mild grape ape up. I guess I'm on a mild kick today. And I like this movie, though. I do. I just think same thing with the bat. I guess it just needed a little something. I don't know what it was with this, though. I know the bat, it needed more bat. This just needed something.
Did you need a guy in the basement?
Maybe. I think I needed that guy to be a little more greasy. The one brother, I just needed him to be a little greasier. Yeah, more.
The fat one, the big fat one?
Yeah, bibbed overalls with one broken,
like Slaughterhouse?
You know what I mean? Yeah, like a little bit more like, but more crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that dude because there's one point where he loses it. Like the girl goes, yeah, I was talking to, or somebody said something. He said, what'd they say about me? He like snaps.
Oh, right.
Like, oh, I like that. I was like, okay, well, here we go.
Right.
I just think he needed some bibbed overalls and a greasy smeared shirt or something, And or like you said,
his development wasn't arrested enough for you.
I thought for sure there was going to be the basement because they did show the basement. They pointed towards it or whatever. And I think you're right, Tim. I think I needed him to come up out of that basement, and be a little more shocking looking.
Well, we're right. Well, see, that was my problem with Slaughterhouse. Except at least in Slaughterhouse, they telegraphed one, and they didn't give me anything. In this one, they telegraphed a little bit, but there was something in the basement. But it wasn't. Wasn't the guy you were looking for, though.
Right. And I think other than that, because I liked it. I'm glad we watched it. This is, I guess, it sounds so weird. My type of movie, as far as I like this, where people, you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. You can't get away. People are saying, "Oh, yeah, well, there's a boat coming, or there's a guy coming. There's this. Yep, we'll fix you right up." And then it never happens, and then people get more and more, stir crazy about that, so that was. I liked that part.
Well, that was one thing that bothered Angio a lot too. She kept getting pissed off. I mean, she kept getting pissed off about the friend they left at the plane. They're like, when are they going to go back for that guy? When are they go back? And I guess finally they reminded you in the script that there was supposed to be a boat coming or something like that. But man, was she fired up about it. She's like, they totally forgot about that guy. So I got to start thinking she might have had a crush on that dude.
Maybe
she might have had a crush. So if they got a movie with that guy and with that Carolyn Barkley starring in it, you're probably not going to be seeing it in this house. Because we'll be mad at each other. We'll be like, you're not looking at that guy. I'm like, well, you're not looking at that gal. All right. Yeah. So that was kind of funny because she was getting pretty upset. Last time I saw her that upset in a movie was at the end of Mission to Mars on our honeymoon. We watched Mission to Mars. We rented Mission to Mars last night of our honeymoon. We're tired, we're in Vegas, so we're in the hotel and we rent that, and I started just dying. I laugh, but it's hard for me to laugh real hard at things sometimes. She had me laughing hard because her reaction was so natural. She hated the end of that point. She started yelling at the TV, then yelled at me like I had something to do with it, And I'm like, Angie, she's not like that. And that got me laughing so hard, which I think pissed her off even more. So I learned my lesson this time. I wasn't laughing at her with the guy that was gone, but she was very upset that guy was gone.
You forgot about him.
Yeah. So, and I was very upset. She was upset, but I had my head. Maybe that's why she was upset. I had Caroline Barkley to look at. Her guy was at the plane. So
I'm glad she lasted as long as she did.
Yeah. But she enjoyed the film too. So I mean, so I think it's a good movie. I think we had a good week compared to last week. I know you're mild grape aping, but Ben Hurley, you're also been kind of moonlighting as a heel. So
that's right.
I think you're just kind of playing the part a little bit because
a little bit, buddy.
I think last year you would have given these grape apes up, just regular ones. Maybe we'll have to throw some better ones at you. I got a couple ideas for next week already to help us out. So, basically we're getting mild grape apes up for the Bat from 1959 and for American Gothic. Definitely worth checking out. I would side with American Gothic, checking that out. And if you're interested in the Bat, try the Bat Whispers. Try to look for that. It's kind of an interesting film. But this is not bad. But this one's not bad.
No.
Once again, Film Detective put out the Bat on Blu-ray, and American Gothic is, surprise, surprise, Shout Factory.
Shout Factory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm going to keep it from everyone what we're doing next week. because I'm a jerk and I like to keep secrets. But you'll find out when you listen. You'll find out when you listen, and then you'll be like, I thought it was something different. But no, it's not. So here you go. So until next week, Mr. Ben Harley, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.